Okay, we ready? Well, good morning. I hope you're doing well. We are back in Enshrouded, and on our journeys and exploration of the world of Emberbell, Gus and I have come across quite a few different building blocks. So we are going to take a look at all the different building blocks that we have found so far. And as you can see, I have set them up. So we are going to start back here with the most basic, the wood blocks. And we have here the very start of it all, the rough wood block. This one you get by default. So very basic. Puts a roof over your head, some walls around you, but that's about it. Here we have the refined wood block, which looks a whole lot better. At least you can build a decent looking house with it, right? And next to it, we have the shroud wood block, which actually looks pretty decent considering the wood it comes from. It's a little on the gray side, but it does make for some nice building. So those are our three straight up wood blocks that we found so far. Over here, we have our nice medieval looking blocks, starting with the half timbered block, which is our, I cannot remember, I think it's Wattle and Daub, but correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, we know the house over there is made partially with this. Makes a nice floor too. Next to it, we have the brick timbered block, which, well, is like that, but made with brick. Also makes a very nice tile floor. I'm probably going to change the greenhouse to this instead of the fired brick that it's made out of. Although the fired brick does make a nice pattern floor too. So that's what all of those look like, and they're nice. They're very nice. Some of my favorites. But we're going to move over to some of the stone, and there's a lot of stone. We're going to start with the rough stone. Again, one of your starters. Pretty basic. You're going to make a sturdy looking house. It looks a little better than the rough wood block, but not by much. Next to it is the rough flint stone, which looks a whole lot better. Still not fantastic, but you know what? It looks decent. And next to that is the rough cut stone, which, if I'll be honest, out of the three of them, is the best. I mean, it at least looks like building material, right? And has some nice detailing on it. So there's those. Vastly different for all being stone. And come over here next to it. We have regular stone blocks, which actually look really good and put the first three to shame. I like the little detailing on the floor and stairs. But next to it, I think is now one of my absolute favorites, and it's the fancy stone block. Now, this is a mixture of stone and wood. It's got really nice wainscoting on the inside, wood floors, wood stairs, stone exterior, wood trim. I'm absolutely loving this one. I could see building from the ground up using this with a couple of other blocks for detailing. This would be absolutely fantastic. But we still have quite a few blocks to get through. So let's keep going. Over here, we have the city wall block, which is this light gray. Looks pretty nice. A little light on the detailing, but it looks pretty decent. You could imagine building a sturdy wall around a city or a settlement with it. And right next to it is the castle wall stone brick. So, definitely different detailing on the floor. Still a little light on the details. Much darker stone. Different patterning. But cleaner. Looks like an expert craftsman did it. If you were building a city, you would definitely want to grab these for the big structures and the outer walls to protect it. Over here, we start getting into the sandstones. And first up, we have rough sandstone. And it is rough. Not a whole lot of cutting or cleaning done to it. It's very unpolished. But pretty good detailing on it. Like the touches. Looks very natural. Next to it, we have the regular sandstone. Even more detailing. Looks like some thought and care was done. Maybe the stones were chipped down to a somewhat uniform size. Nice, lighter color too. And at the end, we have mixed sandstone. Now this one definitely looks like it was formed. Stones are almost even in some places. A lot more detailing. A mottled color. I can't remember. I can look though. Let's see. I think it's a mixture of stone and sandstone. Mixed. We're looking for the mixed sandstone. That's rough. If we can even find it in here. Ah, sandstone and limestone is what it's a mixture of. Okay, so that's where the coloring comes from. And speaking of limestone, our next one over is the limestone block. Pretty rough looking. Very primitive. Could be fun to build with, though. Say if you were building a more early age settlement, this would definitely be a choice. It still has some nice detailing to it. Even the tile floor has got a little bit of nice detail. And right next to that is the Vuka Temple Stone. Now this one I rather like. I like the way the stairs look. I like the tiling. I kind of like the detailing of the window and the windowsill. I even like the coloring of it. That mossy look. Looks like it has moss growing on it. Yeah, I don't know why the music changed, but that was different. Wonder if it's because I'm standing on this stone. All right, moving on. Next, we have a couple of fun blocks. These are the luminescent blocks. We have the blue luminescent block, And we have the white luminescent block. Now, to be perfectly honest, I would not build walls and floors and stairs with these. These are more for lighting accents. And while they don't light super bright, they would provide a soft glow to an area. Well, we've seen that down in the crafting basement. They do help. Clearly, the white ones are outshining the blue ones, but those are nice for what they are. Over here, we have the hollow hall block, which is a very gothic black and red design. Very tiled. Some interesting kind of almost scroll detailing in the black. Very, just very, I don't know, almost industrial feeling in some ways. Yeah, a lot of patterning in it. Very geometric. That's the term I'm looking for. Very geometric in design. Would not be my first choice to build anything with, but if you're looking for something dark and gothic, this would probably be a good pick. And if you really want to make it macabre, well, this next block, the bone block, is a great one to pair. As you can see, you're going to be stepping in a lot of bones. You got skulls, you got, well, what? Probably femurs. Who knows? But it's a very bony block. Not sure about you, but I don't want my wall staring back at me. However, makes great accents for filling in crypts. Maybe putting in a couple of spots. And like I said, if you're going for that gothic, macabre feel, great to pair with the hollow hall block. Now over here is a block that I'm not sure I would use for anything, but it is the mycelium overgrown block, and it is something you see a lot down in the shroud. It's a block that looks like it's been sapped of all its life. Overgrown with what appears to be dead fungi. It is, well, almost a bone color. And while it is very dark and almost grim, the detailing on it is absolutely fantastic. So while I would not personally use it for anything, I cannot think of a single thing I would use it for. It's a great block design. Perhaps you could think of a use for it. Now finally, the final two blocks we're going to look at are the metal blocks. And I did not think I was going to like these, but oh my. So here we have the copper block. Maybe we should back up so we can actually see it. Got a very geometric diamond pattern going on there. The copper color is actually quite realistic, including the green patina. Very industrial looking, but I don't know. I rather like it, and it actually sounds like metal when you walk on it too. But next to it is my favorite, the bronze block. And just look at that almost filigree design on the wall. And how nice and shiny it is. And the tile, yeah, the stairs look great. That is pretty. It almost gives me a little bit of a clockwork vibe. Little tiny bit steampunk, but not quite. I wouldn't build a whole building with it, but I can definitely see adding this as accents. Perhaps a column, or a wainscoting, or maybe a ceiling. I could see a ceiling made of this. This just looks great, but the copper looks really good too. So, surprisingly, I really like these. So, what are my favorites? Well, clearly, for accent pieces, those two metals are my go-tos. For lighting, you can't beat the luminescent blocks. If I wanted to build some temple ruins, I would definitely go with the VUCA blocks. For straight up building, well, these three here are some of my favorites, along with these two wood. And these three stone here. I could do so much with that. And I am definitely looking forward to trying to build with this one. This fancy stone. Yeah, I'm going to have fun with that one. I don't know where yet. But as soon as I figure it out, I am going to be building with it. And of course, I guess we should not forget, we do have roof pieces. So let's look at those real quick. We only have the 4, though. There are 2 others that I cannot make yet because I don't have the tar for them. So we're going to go over here. And we have, of course, the clay, which is one of my favorites. We have the stone shingle, which I'll be honest is probably my least favorite. Don't really like it. It's easy to make. Doesn't take a lot to make it, but not my favorite. We have, of course, the plant fiber, which is probably the absolute easiest to make. Practical. It looks all right. And the straw, which looks pretty good. But until you either get a steady supply of straw, which usually means you're growing a lot of wheat, you're not going to make a lot of this one. I actually like the coloring of that one. You know, once I get enough of that, I might change out the roof of the barn for this. Or the roof of... Ooh. I just thought of something to use the fancy stone. Okay. That's a different story. But plans, I'm making them. However, that is all the blocks we have found so far. I'm sure there are others we have not discovered yet. And, well, some of my favorites. But leave a comment below. What were the favorites? What were your favorites of the ones that I showed you? And what would you do with them? Would you build a small settlement, a city, an underground tomb, a floating island, a space station? Okay, maybe the space station is a stretch. Although, we do have metal blocks. There's a thought. I'll have to ask Gus about that one. Any rate, speaking of Gus, next time, we'll see what trouble Gus and I get into. Until then, bye for now.